The wind howled softly across the high cliff where Jungkook stood, hands buried in the pockets of his dark coat, eyes fixed on the bleeding horizon. Peace lingered in the air, but his chest ached when a familiar face of a woman appeared in his mind. Vian. He inhaled deeply. Every time he thought of her, it was the same. He would tremble. His heart would start beating loudly and his knees would give out. Even after all these years, she hadn't faded from him. Years ago, when he was still in high school, she had saved him. It was a rainy morning back in school. He had been smaller than the others, thinner, weaker, and struggling academically too. The world had been cruel. The bullies would shove him, hide his back, and spit mockery in the hallways. That day, he was dragged behind the library, fists ready to land, until a voice pierced through the storm. What the hell do you think you're doing? He will never forget that voice. It was her, Ryan, sweet, smart, and radiant. Everybody loved her, not because she was demanded, but because she made everyone feel like they mattered. She wasn't flashy, she wasn't the queen bee or the rebel, she was simply good. Always helping them, lending them notes, smiling, giving them confidence, fighting for them. She was strong, she was their role model, and on that day, she had stood in front of him like a shield. She didn't just yell, she reported it. And left him a small letter on his desk. Don't worry about them anymore. I spoke to the teachers. You don't deserve that. Stay strong. And next time, if someone annoy you, just show a middle finger in their faces. And he had stared at those words for hours. There was a cute emoji on the note. It melted his heart. She never knew what that one act did to him. How her kindness carved a permanent home inside his heart. As school years passed by, he watched her from afar. She tutored people, joined events, laughed in circles of friends, while he struggled through his exams and hid behind his thick glasses and ill fitting uniform, but he never stopped loving her. Not because she saved him, but because she was her, because slowly and eventually he got the courage to fight for his place in a queue or his seat in a cafeteria. It was because of her confidence. She was changing him for good without even knowing. He fell in love with her, slowly, devastatingly, and forever. His face would flush red and his legs would tremble because of how madly he was in love with her. But life moved on. She graduated, he graduated. She went to university, so did he. Eventually, she had a boyfriend, and no matter how much he loved her, he wasn't going to become a stone in her way of happiness. She deserved the world. He pushed himself, changed his lifestyle, grew taller, studied like a madman, worked out, learned, grew into a man, and still, she never left his heart. He saw on social media one day her wedding. It wasn't the same guy who was her boyfriend in high school. He remembered staring at the screen for hours, breath shaking, tears not falling but welling deep, and he let her go. Because what else could he do? If she was happy, then he was going to sacrifice himself and start with her new. He had no right to complain when he was the one who never took a step to make her happy. Now, years later, as he stood on this cliff, a successful man with the world under his command, the name of the girl who once saved him still sat like a whisper in his lips. He was wanted by every woman who ever laid her eyes on him. It was a strange feeling he was slowly getting used to. From a boy who was bullied to a man who was the desire of every woman, men would bow before him, and he gave all the credit to her. Ryan. He exhaled, and in that exact moment, she bumped into him. Literally. He took a step back, confused, ready to apologize, but his voice died in his throat. There she was, breathless, disheveled, tears running down her face. His whole world stopped. Ryan? He whispered. She softly raised her hands to apologize in a kind of gesture to make sure he was okay. Despite how much of a mess she looked like, she was still the same woman he once knew, the kindest. He approached carefully, even his heart was all over the place. JK, what happened? She stared up at him, mascara streaking down her cheeks. There were tears in her eyes of a woman he would bleed to keep happy. Standing there at the edge of a cliff, wind played with her hair. They blew softly. The sun made her and her tears glow, and in that moment, he wanted to fall on his knees before her. Wine, please take me away from everything, from everyone. He took a step forward. He believed she didn't recognize him, and if she was asking that from a stranger, he wondered how much in pain she was in that moment. JK, you're safe with me. He very carefully held her hands, and before anything, she collapsed in his arms. He held her against him. He knelt down on the ground and stared at her face. It broke him. A woman so strong collapsed in the safety of a stranger. Just how much this world broke her. She didn't wake up for hours. In those hours, he sat quietly, watching her breathe. He didn't touch her, just sat there, scared that even the brush of his hand might break her further. And then she stared. Her lashes fluttered. She blinked slowly, the kind of slow that comes from exhaustion too deep to name. Her brows knit as she sat up quietly, the disorientation sinking in. Ryan, where am I? Jungkook, safe. You're on my ship. He fainted. She turned her to face him. Confusion, panic, realization. Ryan, Jungkook? She remembered him, and she had no idea what it did to him. JK, yeah, it's me. Silence stretched between them. She looked away, tried to gather herself, but her body trembled, her hands twisted in her lap. Ryan, I'm sorry. I didn't know who you were. I should have. Jungkook, don't. Don't apologize. I'm just glad it was me you bumped into. You're safe here. Her eyes glassed over again, lips quivering as soon as she felt she was okay. Her heart filled up, as if there was pain in her she couldn't even control anymore. Fine, my husband cheated on me. It shattered the air. Fine, I caught him. He didn't even flinch, just said, I should have known better. It wasn't enough. Fine, and I just ran because I've spent my whole life being hurt. My parents, my first boyfriend in high school slapped me in front of my friends. I thought marriage would be finally safe. And then the dam broke. She sobbed. And he, Jungkook, a man who had once trembled just by watching her laugh in the hallway, now pulled her in his arms and let her cry until the front of his shirt was soaked and her voice was hoarse. Jungkook, you don't have to be strong here, not with me. His protective arms provided her with the warmth she missed her whole life. A woman so kind and helping, he would have given her the world. How come? It took her time. She didn't cry much as if her body was already used to the pain, but she stayed in his arms for a long time, stayed at a distance and just let her, for as long as she needed it. Ryan, thank you. I'll always remember that. Jungkook, you've always been the person for me to remember forever. She looked at him. JK, you might not know it, but you have always been everyone's idol. Ryan, me? I didn't do such thing to Jungkook. You were always helping others, whether it was helping them to pass the class or stand up for their rights. You were always there, just like you were there for me. JK, I am what I am today because of you. One was shocked, if not surprised. She did help others, but she never thought it would mean this much to someone. Jungkook, and I would have done anything to be the man who married you. She froze in his arms. He pulled back gently to look at her, his eyes soft. It wasn't his moment. It wasn't the time. He knew it, but for once, he wanted to be selfish. He was told himself, maybe in another life. But that's it. The another life was here. Jungkook, I loved you since school, Ryan. Since the day you saved me. Not because you stood up for me, but because of how you did it. You were the only person in my world who would make me feel like I was worth something. You changed me. And Jungkook, every bit of good in me was born from wanting to be the kind of man you could be proud of. You have always been the center of my universe. You never noticed. That's okay. His voice trembled, his face turning red, just the kind of effect this woman had on him. JK, you were living your life, and I never had the courage. You had a boyfriend, and my love was selfless. If you were happy, I was ready to sacrifice it all. Be a coward, stand at a corner, and watch a woman I love be held by someone else, as long as she was happy. Those were his feelings he meant, but it didn't mean it was not painful. It was gut wrenching. But yes, as long as she was happy. Vine stared at him, lips parted, heart pounding. JK, but I know you're hurting, and I won't ask for anything. Not yet. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll protect you. Help you through this, even if it takes forever. Jungkook, so let me, please, for everything you have done for me, even without knowing. Let me help you in return. Not for yourself, but for me. She agreed. He knew it. She would agree if it involved providing someone else relief. That was just the kind of woman she was. Helping, kind. Over the next few months, he became her fortress. He hired the best lawyers for her divorce, sat beside her during meetings, held her when she broke down on the floor. He cooked for her, drove her to therapy, read to her when she couldn't sleep. They shared quiet breakfasts, long walks, and slowly, piece by piece, she began to breathe again. Trust was the hardest. It took her a long time before she truly started to trust again. Minimal, but it started. And he would start a war to protect that. Jungkook never asked anything for her in return. He made sure she laughed. He made sure to bring her to places she loved. He would occasionally bicker with her and pull her leg just to receive a pillow to his face, but that was the whole point of it, her laughter. He stayed the same, quiet, loving, patient, never crossing a line, but the tension was always there. The way he would swallow hard when she leaned in too close, tremble when she smiled, or blush when she thanked him for any minimal thing. She noticed it all. A man so calm and composed trembling just because of her smile, how would that not heal her and open up to him? 1 year later, she held a cupcake in her hand out of the many she freshly baked. A huge smile on her lips. She recently got herself into baking and she was loving every second of it. She was back whole again. Took her time, but she was there. Wine. You wanna taste? Like hell, he would reject. He was across the lounge, into the kitchen within a second. His serious businessman expressions gone. Phone call cut. Puppy eyes staring at the cupcake. One, it's $2,000 per bite. He didn't take the joke. He didn't hesitate. He took out his black card and Wine laughed, shoving the cupcake in his mouth. Wine, I might eat you someday. He blushed. Once again, he didn't take the joke. Jungkook, well, I don't mind that. Despite the redness on his cheeks, he flirted with such confidence which made Wine nearly scream and throw the cream packet in her hand at him. Wine, learn to take a joke. Jungkook, why? And I clearly want to experience that. He said, eating the cupcake and licking his fingers. That was not helping. Wine, get out of my kitchen. In his defense, it was his, but he wasn't going to say that. Jungkook, okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop here. Let me have more cupcakes. She moved the tray towards him and the two sat down calmly, enjoying them until Wine spoke. Wine, what do you want in return? For everything you have done for me? The lawyer, the sleepless nights, the peace? The question came out of nowhere. Jungkook, you don't owe me anything. She smiled. Wine, I still want to know. He stared at her for a long second. Jungkook, a chance to love you, to make you laugh again, to give you everything you were denied, everything you truly deserved. Jungkook, I want mornings with you. I want to make you tea when you're sick and dance with you in the kitchen. I want to be the man you have never doubt. I've loved you my whole life, Wine. I've never touched another woman, not even once. Wine of today believed those words, and she had healed enough to trust them. All possible because of this exact man who proposed to her. She didn't know how she was helpful to him all her life. She didn't do practically much for him, but he did. He saved her. She smiled and picked up a cupcake, taking a bite. Wine, I'll be kind and give you a chance, she said dramatically, holding her hand out, and her drama broke within a minute when her laugh broke out of her. She had started to smile with him. She had never giggled so much like she did with him. She felt safe and easy, all because of his efforts. He took her hand and kissed the back of it only to have a hard time controlling his trembling legs. A woman he loved and respected his whole life. After years of prayers and pain, she was here as his, giving him a chance. Nothing could possibly make him happier than this.